There's no easy way out. I just wanna know there's no easy way out. No easy way out. I'm not asking for another chance.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the No Easy Way Out podcast. My name is Tony Nash, and we are coming to you, as always, from the Woodworth building in beautiful downtown Owosso, home to my company, AZEE Branding Solutions, where we help grow your brand from A to Z. Now, I'm super excited because we got a celebrity in the house today, a local celebrity, and someone that maybe you've seen her on the Food Network, and if you haven't, you should go watch it. You're going to have to download Discovery Plus to watch it, but it's worth it. My wife and I just started watching season 8, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But our guest today is the one and only Jill Davis. Jill, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. And I just have to say before we get started, so my first real interaction with you, of course, when we hired Casey, he had told us, he was talking to a lot of the people that he knows, and he had said some really good things about you. Of course, you brought some treats into our staff, but I wasn't here that day, but I got to try them. But I had last season a very controversial guest. I'm locally controversial in our little town of Owosso here. And I like to have anybody and everybody on the show. I like to talk to people and get to know why they do what they do. Let them speak for themselves. I don't like it when people speak for me, so I like to give people the opportunity to speak for themselves. And, I had mixed reviews, but you reached out to me via email, and I thought it was one of the most thoughtful things. Just saying that, hey, I was skeptical about the guest. I watched it all the way through. I thought you did a good job interviewing. I appreciate your voice. And I can't remember everything, but it was just a very heartfelt, and you were honest about some things. Just very candid, thoughtful email. And it just thought, that's the kind of person that I want to be and be around. So I appreciate that. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, everybody has their thoughts on that man.
For sure. Including me.
Every voice is worth listening to, so there's no reason to shut something down just because everything has a story, and it's better to know the whole story. So.
Yeah, you never know why people do what they do or what the background is, but it's always interesting to find out. And that's what's great about America is you can present your ideas in a free market of ideas. You present your idea, and the best ideas rise to the top, right?
Let's hope.
That's what
the
we
goal.
hope for. Yeah, that's the goal. So, of course, you are the owner of Drizzle Cakes and Bakes.
That's me.
And we're going to talk about that and what that is. But before that, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about Jill Davis?
Yeah. So I'm Jill. I am a resident of Owosso now. I married into the town. My husband is Carl Davis. A lot of you might remember him. He was the cute floppy-haired waiter at Jumbo's for a long time. Most of you know Crazy Carl from Jumbo's. And then we got married in 2016 and moved here. Was it 2016 or 14? Ooh. Uh-oh. Sorry, honey.
It's one of those years in the teens.
Right. I'm pretty sure it was actually 14. Yeah, 2014, because we've been married for seven years. So that's math, right?
I don't know. I can't do math.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Sounds like
9,
16
10.
if it's 7 years.
Yeah, 16. I know things. So actually, and I just realized this the other night, I have lived in Owosso longer than anywhere else in my life at this point. So congratulations, Owosso, you win.
So where did you live before this?
We grew up mostly in the Thumb area, and then kind of have been a rolling stone all over between, moving with family, growing up in school, and then early career and things like that. So this is the deepest roots that I've put down in my entire life.
Well, we love Owosso.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are watching who are not in Michigan, when she says the Thumb area, so imagine this is Michigan. It's shaped like a hand. This is the Thumb area, what we refer to. So crazy Michigan people, we always have a map with us. When you ask us where we're from, we're like, oh, we hold up our hand and we just point. So kind of a fun thing that we do here. But So tell us a little bit then about Drizzle Cakes and Bakes and what you do there and what you have to offer.
Yeah, so I say we, and on my social media, I always refer to Drizzle Cakes as we, and I don't know why I do that, like, because it's literally just me.
I'm sure it's a
And-
group effort of some kind.
It's right. Yeah, I mean, it's a team effort because my husband and I have two very young boys, so trying to find people to watch them, and
Yeah.
in the
It's a
community,
process.
it's a whole we thing,
a
but
we.
it's also just me. But I specialize in custom cakes, kind of curated desserts, really local, seasonal items. I work with a lot of farms around the area, homesteads, things like that, to really highlight Michigan's agriculture, the small businesses that we have here in town. So basically just desserts that you can't really find anywhere else, whether it's like a
One of a
crazy
kind.
custom cake or, crazy flavors. Sometimes get real crazy with the flavors. You might have a little taste of that later.
I heard.
Sneak
I
peek.
heard. Thank you, Casey Lambert.
And just things that are a little out of the box, things that are just something different.
Yeah, I always wonder. So, like, you'll see on television people make these just incredible works of art, and I follow your social media, and some of the stuff you make is absolutely stunning. And I always wonder, like, how difficult must it be for the baker that spent all the time designing that, only to just cut into it and eat it, and it's gone. Like, you can't preserve it.
It's really, yeah,
It's
like
such a short satisfaction. You got to take a picture.
you become numb to it after
Yeah.
a while. Like, I mean, you make it to be enjoyed. So, like,
Sure.
that, like, it's better to, like, because a lot of the work is just the baking. So it's like,
Yeah.
somebody eat this thing. Like, I worked really hard on it. You guys better eat it.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, it's a weird, because I know with typical art, like, it's meant to be forever. Like, it's
Yeah.
a piece that stays in somebody's home. But
Exactly.
but for I mean, what I do really isn't a lot different, because there's
Edible art.
photos now.
Yeah.
There's photos.
Yeah.
There's videos. There's a whole lot of things. So it's like it's supposed to go away. Like, it's
So for real with you, like they say, if you don't post it on Facebook, did it actually happen? With you, you actually have to post it somewhere
You
and
do,
make sure
yeah.
you have it.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't I mean, obviously, I don't post everything that I do, but, like,
Yeah.
especially with, like, the weddings and stuff, like, that is going in somebody's memories forever. So,
sure.
like, even if it's never posted, it belongs to someone. Like, it's
Yeah.
art to somebody, so it's valid.
Well, one of the things I love that we do here, I'm a graphic designer, I'm a web designer. I love creating something for somebody, whether it be a logo or whether it be a sign that they're going to hang up in their place. We just designed some signs for the new Area 52 diners,
Oh, I
some
haven't
really
been
cool,
there.
like retro, Forbidden Planet 1940 sci-fi vibe, and we had a lot of fun with it.
Okay.
But the fun thing for me is, like, I love designing it and then seeing their reaction.
Yeah.
But the cool part then is like you'll get to see it up on the wall and get to see it. So to me, I've always thought when I see them cut into it, I'm like, oh, that's got to just rip you in
It
two.
doesn't.
But you
It
just get
doesn't.
used to
Maybe
it.
I'm heartless.
Don't get too emotionally attached
Right.
to the cake.
Get it?
Well, obviously, I mean, it's clear that you love what you do. What do you love most about, what's your favorite part about
I think
baking these unique?
the creativity. Like, I've always been, like, from the beginning, I've always been, like, the weird creative child. Like, I have an older
Me too.
sister, and I feel like we fall into, like, the tropes of, like, older sister or older sibling is, like, very, like, by the book, like, regimented, like,
Firstborn.
logical, and then the second one is just chaos. And I was less chaos and just more creative,
Yeah.
like, shapes and colors. Cassie was all, my sister's name is Cassie. She's all, logic and numbers. So
Yeah.
we fall into that. So
So it makes
it's
a
really
good balance,
just,
though.
yeah, it does. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's, she keeps me in check. I push her farther than she wants to go. It's great. But I think, it's just the creative. Like, I always knew that, a 9 to 5, like, the office job was not going, like, my brain just
Yeah.
shuts down in that
Yeah.
sort of scenario. So this gives me the opportunity to, every day is different at work for me. Like, it's coming up with new flavors. It's, finding out people's stories to make their desserts personal. And it's great. Like, I can't imagine doing anything else.
No, that's the entrepreneurial bug. I
Right.
mean, they say you'd rather work 80 hours for yourself and be
Yes.
broke than work 40 hours for somebody else
That's
and have money.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's the true definition of an
Ain't
entrepreneur.
that the truth?
So, yeah. So how did you come up with the name? Obviously, clearly you had a passion for your creativity, But take us back to like when you first kind of discovered baking, and then how you came up with the name and make this thing a business.
Yeah, so I have been working all over this. I've been all over in my career. I have worked in Rochester in, custom bake shops. And I was out in Fenton for a few years at an awesome bakery. If anybody's familiar with Crust, I was their cake
Oh,
decorator
wow.
for
Yeah.
years. Love them, still love them. And but I started baking when I was a teenager, and I grew up in a rural agricultural town, a lot like Owosso, much smaller. But so I was in 4-H, and they had like, the what is the barn at 4-H fair? It's like the creative barn where they have like all of the exhibits.
just
I
thought
think
it
it's
was
just
called
called
the
the
4-H
exhibit
barn,
barn. No, it's like
maybe.
the exhibit.
Okay.
And so they had a cake decorating thing, and my mom had always made our cakes growing up. So I asked her like, "Hey, can you teach me how to do some of that?" And she said yes. So she started teaching me what she knew, and went to entered a few cakes into 4-H, and just a humble brag here, was the 4-H trophy grand
Oh,
champion of cake
wow.
decorating 2 years in a row, and pies.
Then you knew.
So, that's my real claim to fame.
Yeah.
Food Network was
Do we
cool,
have
but
pictures of those cakes
oh,
somewhere?
please don't make me do that. Yeah, I think I do actually. I mean, I'm
We
sure
gotta
I
see
do.
'em.
I think those are like physical photos. I don't know if those are anywhere digital or
Digitally,
not.
yeah.
But
You're gonna have to
and-
do how it started and
oh gosh,
where
yeah,
it's
where I'm at
going.
now. Yeah, that would be funny. I've never
Yeah.
done that. So that's kind of where my background started. And when I started doing that, it just kind of clicked. Like I consider myself extremely lucky to be one of those people that just knew what they wanted to do, and I
Yeah.
just chased it as far as I could. I mean, within reason. Like I took steps to make sense, but
And you're still chasing it.
and I'm so God, yeah,
It's a constant chase, right?
It is. Yeah. Gotta hydrate.
Yes. But when you love it, I mean, it makes the good days seem okay.
It
I'm sorry, it
does.
makes the bad days seem
It
okay.
does.
And, for me, like there are, even though we love what we do here, there's a good fair amount of bad days, but
So many bad days.
I feel like the good days definitely outweigh the bad, and you can kind of see the end and what it's going to be, and so you
Yes.
just keep chasing it. So
Yeah, but a little bit more like to end that question, the name that I came up with, because I had always been kind of doing stuff on the side, even when I was working for somebody else. But when we had our first son, I was still working in Fenton at the time. It's a long drive. Like I was very nervous, new mom, like didn't
Sure.
want to be that far away from my kid. Like if something happened and I needed to come back, like I'm an hour away from him. And so I just started kind of diving more into doing stuff on the side. And before I came up with Drizzle, it was just me, just like,
Sure.
hey, I'll make you a cake. But my mom married my dad, whose name is Pat, and 2 of her other sisters. My mom has 5 siblings. So 2 of her other sisters also married Pats. So there's 3
wow.
Pats. And I'm like, and so my maiden name is Driscoll, and my dad's nickname in the family was always Driz because of all the Pats.
Sure.
So I kind of took that and turned it into Drizzle to kind of give
Love
an
it.
homage to, my past life,
Love it.
my maiden name and my family. And also because it sounds yummy.
Yeah.
It
I always
sounds-
love hearing
sounds
how
like a
people.
donut.
I always love how people come up with their name. I
Yeah.
thought it was Snoop Dogg inspired.
It was
Drizzle. It seems like a Snoop Dogg word, but
No, it
that's
wasn't.
such a cool story.
No, but yeah, it's
Yours is way
mostly-
better.
Yeah, it was mostly just because it sounded like a baking term, and also kind of a little nod to my dad and
Yeah.
my maiden name.
Love that. So let's talk about Food Network.
Yeah.
So you were on season 8 of the Food Network's Halloween Baking Challenge Championship. Yeah. My kids and my wife watch it every year.
Yeah.
And I tend not to watch the Food Network because I'm a fat kid and I just sit there and get hungry the whole time and I end up snacking. But my wife and I started watching season 8.
Yeah.
I had seen clips, but I'd never seen it. So we're through through episode 2.
Oh God.
And it's so cool. Knowing that I know you, like I kept saying at the beginning, I'm like, that's Jill.
Yeah.
And I said it like 6 times, and my wife's like, "How many times are you going to tell me it's Jill?" I'm like, "Well, I just want to make sure you know which one it is."
That's her. That's her. It's the one that says
Then I go,
Jill at
"It's the
bottom
one
of
with the
screen.
bandana," and she's like, "They're all wearing bandanas." I'm like,
true.
"Oh, they are actually."
No, we don't like getting hair in our face in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It like sends us into a rage spiral. Like it's a thing. So
So tell us, how did you get on the show? Let's start there. How did you get on the show?
So it was actually not the first time that I had applied. I had applied years before. They had, when I was working at Crust, and they had reached out to Crust saying, "Hey, we know of your bakery. Do you have anybody that might fit this description? We're casting for the show." And so my boss kind of threw them my name. I did the interview. That's where it ended. And then I applied again the year before this one. So would have been in 2020. No. 2021. I don't know. Dates are hard.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think
You gotta call your
it would have
sister
been
for the numbers.
2021. Yeah, right. She would know. 2021, and they, so but that time they had contacted me because I had been doing my own thing as Drizzle at that point, and so they said, "We
shizzle.
found your." Damn it. They found my social media. They said, "We think you were a great fit. Like, here, would you like to explore this further?" I said yes, made it all the way through the process, and actually made it to be first alternate on the show, which is
wow.
the person that they call in if something happens. Especially that was, still pretty deep in the COVID era. So
Sure.
somebody tested positive, I get thrown in. I was actually 20 weeks pregnant with our second son at that time.
Wow.
So I'm super glad that they didn't need to call me in, because having gone through it now, like
Yeah.
I would have had to, no,
Yeah,
like
it's a lot.
this is physically and emotionally a lot. And, but so moving on from there, they called me again the next year saying, we would really like to go, we loved you. We want to put you in again, but you do have to go through the whole process again. There's no grandfathering in. So I had to go through the whole process again, and this year I made it, and I was so happy that I got to be with the cast that I did, and get through the experience with them. And
It looks
it's hard. It's a hard process.
It looks intense. Like having no baking skills at all, but just watching. I always wonder, like, one of the other shows that my family watched a lot is the show Chopped, where they just throw you random ingredients and you got to come up with some idea, and they give them a short time. And similar with you guys, they give you like these
The
random,
twist.
here's a
Daddy
twist.
John
You got,
and his evil maniacal twists.
yeah, he's such a good host. Like, I thought he
God.
should be an
We love
actor.
him.
Like, he convinced you that he's like this demented hotel operator.
I know,
But-
he's so good. We started calling him at some point in the season Daddy John, and we're gonna get him a T-shirt.
He was enjoying it.
But yeah, he loved it, and it's so cool. Like, he's so kind. Like, off camera, like he'll talk to you, and like they were all wonderful. But yeah, he enjoyed messing with us. Like, that's the joy of his life, I think, is coming in.
Yeah. Well, like the first challenge was you have to bake a pie.
Based on the body part of a tourist.
And they give you like a bunch of suitcases. You got to pick a suitcase, and you pull out this body part, which you got a leg with like an old dad shoe.
Dad foot.
Yeah, and you had to make a face based on, you had to interpret that leg and determine what this person's
Yeah.
face was. I thought what you did was super creative, but I thought,
Yeah.
how in the world do you make a face out of a pie crust?
Well, that's where, so I am primarily a sculptor, like when it comes to cakes. I mean, obviously I can do anything like buttercream flowers, but where my greatest skill is, I think, is sculpting. So I kind of took those sculpting skills that I use in cake and just used pie crust instead, and threw a little paint on it, and made nightmare fuel.
I thought yours
So-
looked the coolest, by the way. I have to ask, like, there were some people's desserts at the end, like you're watching them when it has the countdown going, of course they make it look like everybody finishes with 1 second
I
to
know,
spare,
I
I'm
know.
like,
Which sometimes we
like,
do.
how does
Sometimes
every
that's real.
single person finish at the very end every time? Nobody ever gets done early, but it's drama for TV.
Yes.
But they would show some of these desserts, and I'm like, that looks like a hot mess. And then they would show the picture of it, like the video, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't look that bad.
bad.
So did they like clean it up for some of the people before
No,
or
I
is
mean,
it as
it
is?
is all like food. So the very end shot, when we cut the when we come out of a bake, it's called food to face. So everybody has to stand at their station, like looking down at what you made, and then from there you go back up into like the green room, and then they take all the crew takes the food away and goes to beauty.
Yeah.
So they have probably a lot like you guys have here, like lighting and things like that. So I'm sure that they found
Dress
the
it up.
best angle.
Yeah.
They aren't allowed to touch it in any way. Like, there's
Gotcha.
no, like, because I mean, I know that there was some of them, like with the next challenge in episode 1, like some of the knives started like flopping over.
Oh, yeah.
And things like that. And so if something like that
Yeah,
happens,
yours was one of the only
they
knives that
cannot-
stayed straight up.
modeling chocolate for
Yeah.
the win. And like,
And that was the
I found
twist they
last
added.
scrap in that kitchen tonight, mine.
That was the twist they had at the end. You guys had this whole thing where you had to pick a blood splatter type,
Yeah.
a sponge cake,
Yeah.
and then at the almost towards the end, he's like, "Oh, also you have to put a knife plunging
Knife,
into the cake." So people were
yes.
really struggling with that.
Yeah.
But you
Well, I
nailed it.
mean, because you're already on such a time crunch. So like these are things that are not meant to be made in these amount of times. Like if any of us were making any of these things that we made on TV in real life, like we would take time to like plan and like allow things to dry and cool properly, but we don't have that time. So it's
Yeah.
just get it done. And obviously under lights, if your pie isn't cool enough, your cake isn't cool enough, like you stick sugar in there and there's heat or moisture, it's going to
Yeah.
flop. But your brain does weird things.
Yes, I'm
in that
sure.
kitchen.
It's probably going a mile a minute.
It is. So
But
you
creative
find
people
you
like
just-
that.
It's true.
That
It's
chaos.
true. It's
That's
great.
what makes us think.
It's true. And I mean, you just kind of run with the first idea that you have, and sometimes it's good. I had my bad moments. I had a couple of bad moments in the show. Some that you haven't made it yet, too.
Yeah.
Look forward to
Spoiler
that.
alert.
I go off the deep end. But well, I think episode 2 was actually where I went off the deep end the most. It was just a whole fever dream full of bad decisions. And
Well, there was a few times where I could see the nerves on your face, but you
I don't know what I was doing. Like that was one of the ones where, and I think they even made me say it on camera. They're like, "I think you're going too far into the story." I'm like, "Yeah, I think you're right, but we're in it now."
Yeah.
We're
the
just
too literal or something, I think
Yeah.
is what they said. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
thought it
was.
was very cool.
It
well,
was, yeah, like I had said to you, like I was sick, so like I couldn't taste anything at that point. Like my
Yeah.
nasal was all that. So I remember like trying a bite of everything together, and my camera guy was even like, "So how's it taste, Jill?" I'm like, "I have no idea." Like, I don't
we're going to find out soon.
I don't know. I did.
That's got to be tough.
That was tough, but it was good.
Well, like I
Made it
said,
through.
we made it to the end of episode 2, where you entered a sudden death challenge. I won't tell the
Yes.
folks watching what happened. It was very
Yeah.
suspenseful.
Yes, it
I
was.
can't wait to watch the rest of the season. I don't know how you ended the season, so I don't
Okay,
want to
I
know.
won't
I want to find out, but it
Okay.
was really cool. And I've always had all these questions about the behind the scenes, so it's
Yeah.
cool learning that stuff. But I got to ask, is there more, television shows in
I
the
would do
future
another
for
one.
Jill?
Yeah, I would do now. If you would have asked me when I immediately came out of Halloween Baking Championship, it would have been a hard no.
Yeah,
Like
like,
it is
that's enough.
and that was the thing too. Like it was so emotionally and physically draining.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of us were like, "Is this going to be good TV?" Because we just panicked and cried a lot. But like, and then it came out, and we were like, "It looks like we're having fun."
They do
like,
so
did
good, yeah.
Did you guys remember having fun? I don't remember the fun. I just remember crying. But yeah, I would. And so my big fish dream show is a cake on Netflix.
Okay.
Because like that is, it's sculpting, it's
That's
realism,
a cool
it's
show.
like hyper realistic, and those
Yeah.
are the cakes that like if I get a hyper realistic cake, which I don't get often.
Yeah.
But I sink my teeth into that and shred every scrap of meat off of that bone that I can.
Yeah.
So that's my big one. But again, it's really hard. Like just the number of people that around the country and globe now, because they pull people nationally for
Yeah.
that show. So it's we'll see. Maybe
Keep trying.
I know.
I
Yeah,
can't wait to see
I'll
it. And I
chase
think
it.
you're going to do it. You're going to be on there. It's going to be cool. That is a very cool show.
It is.
It amazes
I've actually
me
only
what people can
watched
do.
2 episodes, but
Yeah, no, it's amazing what people can do.
Mm-hmm.
So we hope to see you on, on
it'd
that
be
show.
fun.
Keep applying, keep working it. But let's jump back to Drizzle Cakes and Bakes and snap back to reality, right? I think that's one of the things about being a creative is, for me, like when it's chaos and there's a deadline, and I'm like, that's when my mind is like so sharp.
yeah.
When there's like 3 weeks before this is due, I can't even like focus on that. I'm like,
Right.
but like when it's like, hey, we need this by 3:00, all of a
Crunch time,
sudden
baby.
like the synapses just start popping, and like I just have one idea after the next. But then like the other cool thing about being a creative is we have a short memory. So like even though it was terrible and awful staying up all night to finish it, like 3 weeks I'll do it again because I forgot how awful it was because
Yeah.
I just remember the final project. So
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what it was. That's how I describe actually being on the show to people is like, now that you're removed from it a little bit, it's like that wasn't that bad.
Right.
I only lost like 10 pounds and had a couple of mental breakdowns. I could do it
yeah,
again.
I could do that again. So what's going on now today with Drizzle Cakes and Bakes that you want our audience to know
So
about?
now we're just because a lot of people who aren't familiar, I am home based. Like I do not have a storefront. We would like some sort of a commercial kitchen eventually, but we don't right now. And we got really close. We got really close to taking a space, and it kind of brought to focus that we aren't ready. Like I am still, a lot of the times my boys are still with me when I'm baking,
Yeah.
and where they're at in their life, I don't want to lose my time with them any more than I have to. And we know that if we were to open anything brick and mortar right now, like we would have to, give up the time that I
Right.
have with my family. So
It
that's,
changes everything.
it does. And so we will get there. We will find a place. I would love to be more accessible to people. And because
Yeah.
right now I'm booking, a few months out for cakes and events and things like that. So, and I know that's kind of frustrating. Like, we live in a world where we're used to Amazon, where you can order something and
Next
it's at
day.
your door within 2 days. And so a lot of people will, do the same thing with cake and food. Like, can I get a cake for 2 days from now? I'm like,
We
you
understand
absolutely
that.
cannot.
They do the same thing with websites and with T-shirts and the
Yeah,
whole
like
thing.
I
Yeah,
want it and
it's-
I want it now. Amazon can get it here. Why can't you?
Right, exactly.
So that's the thing right now is like making the moves that are right for us and for our family, and still trying to take as much. I want to bake for this town. Like I
Yeah.
want to do your event, but there's only so much that I can do because I only have so much space in my refrigerator.
Sure.
Like
No, well, my free unsolicited advice would be patient.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
That's
for me,
hard.
it's very hard.
It's very-
As somebody who, has basically, since I started 8 years ago, have just been in expansion mode,
yeah.
it adds, it adds a layer of stress. I have that sign that you probably saw when you walked in our office that says, "Remember why you started."
Yeah.
And I started because my, former career kept me working 24/7. I mean, I just never took a break, and I missed out on so much with my family. And so I wanted to do this not to become, crazy successful entrepreneur or rich or famous or any of those things. My why was I wanted to be with my family. I wanted to have time for that because when you're not around them, you miss out on things.
Yeah.
And so there are times where this, even now, because we've just kept expanding and added a print shop and added new space and more employees, it starts to pull me away from that again. And that's when I have to question, like, opportunity isn't always good opportunity, even though it might be lucrative, even though it may, do this for the bank account. It's maybe not the right thing for me now, not the season of life that I'm in. My youngest is 12, so I got another solid 6 years of, 6. Yeah, we're both not doing well with the math today.
Numbers are hard.
6 years of, making sure that she has a great childhood, and I still have, I have 3 graduated, but I still have 3 in the house. So just, being patient and letting things come to you. What we think is going to be the dream sometimes turns into the nightmare if you go too fast.
Yeah.
And so, my encouragement would just be patient, let it happen when it happens.
Right.
And when it does, you will love it. So,
Yes. I hope so.
yeah.
Because it was when we turned down the space that we got literally centimeters from taking, I cried for 2 days. So
Yeah.
but we'll find our space. We
you
know it's
will.
out there somewhere.
It is out there, and
But-
it will happen when it's supposed to happen.
Exactly.
So then who should reach out to you? Like, who's the target audience? Who's the person that's watching that, you would like to have reach out to you?
I would say people who aren't afraid of a little bit of, out of the box flavor. Like I remember I went to one of the marketing meetings that you guys host here at AZEE, and you had made a comment about like when you go to a restaurant, do you get something that you order like continually, or do you get something new? And I crave what I haven't had, and that's a lot of the stuff that I bake. Like I want something that I haven't had. There's a lot of bakeries in this town, and they're all very good at what they do. But like I've had a chocolate chip cookie, I've had this. I want something different. I want something that I haven't had yet. Like I can't go to all these crazy, insane bakeries. So like I'm gonna make it instead. So if you're not afraid of a little flavor, if you're looking for something just like super weird and custom, I'll do it. Like,
And I hear I'll
so-
be trying some unique flavors
Oh,
later
yes,
on
you
today.
will, my friend.
Well,
I
reach
went
out to
real
Jill.
unhinged.
Follow her on Instagram. She's an incredible artist.
Thank you.
And we've tasted some of her desserts here. Everything I've tasted has been very, very good. Hopefully my opinion is the same after today.
I don't know.
But yeah, give her a call. And, if you have a big event and you need something unique to match
Yeah,
that event,
let
give
me
her the
bake for you.
challenge. She loves those things.
Yes.
All right. So now that we've gotten to know a little bit about you,
Yeah.
we're going to get to know a lot about you in a
Okay.
short amount of
Yeah.
time. We have this new segment we added here in season 5 called 50 Questions.
50 questions.
We just go through these and just, try to get to know, squeeze as much, information out of our guests as we can. So are you ready for that?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, let's get right into it. So, Jill, how did you start your day today?
I woke up.
Very good way to start the day.
I woke up, made coffee, and
better
made
than-
lunches
Better
for
than
my
the
kids.
contrary. If you could spend the day with anyone in the world, who would that be?
Oh, Dave Grohl.
All right. And what would you do with them?
Just hang out. He's
Just
a cool
hang
dude.
out?
Is he not like the coolest dude?
Who is
like
it?
Dave Grohl.
Oh,
He's the
Grohl.
lead.
I thought you said Dave Grohl.
No,
I'm
Dave
like,
Grohl, like
Dave
from
Grohl.
Foo
Yes, yes,
Fighters.
yes, yes.
And like he just like every time I
He's
see a
full
video
of
with him,
energy, full of
yeah,
life,
like he
yeah.
just seems like he would be like you would have the best day.
Yes, absolutely. So, what is one thing that you would love to master?
Parenting.
Yes, me too. Good answer.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Nobody does, really. Even the ones that think they do, they don't. Cupcakes or cookies?
Cupcakes are the devil. I hate them. I do not like cupcakes.
I remember you
stop
said-
ordering cupcakes.
I remember
They're
you
not
saying that when you had to
good.
do the lemon meringue cupcakes.
I
You're like,
hate
this
them.
is not my
They're
favorite.
not good. They're not good. Anyway.
Well, everyone liked the taste of them.
Yeah.
Who would make a better baker? Gordon Ramsay or Guy Fieri?
Gordon. Gordon.
He's a master.
He is.
Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Port Huron, Michigan, and as I mentioned earlier, raised all around the state, like all over the place.
All right. What would you say is the most important ingredient in a cake? What does every cake need to have?
This was a hard one. I think probably sugar. Otherwise, you just have weird bread.
Yeah.
Like,
Good point. Good point. No weird bread. Did you go to college?
I did.
Where did you go?
Fire Up Chips,
Ah,
Central Michigan
Central
University.
And
I
what-
also went to culinary school, but CMU came first.
Yeah. And what did you study at CMU?
I was a double major in entrepreneurship and food service administration.
Wow. So you got all the skills,
I
all the
made
credentials.
smart moves, kind of.
What has been the hardest theme cake you've ever had to make?
Ooh, that one's actually that one is probably less about the theme and more about the time frame. It was a baby shower cake that I did, and I loved the cake, but my husband and I were at a very difficult chapter in our lives, and it came at a very unfortunate time, and I did not want to do that cake,
But you pulled it off.
But I had to,
That
yeah.
was good. In 10 years, what will you regret doing too much of?
Scrolling on my phone.
If you could resurrect one person from history and place, I'm sorry, if you could resurrect one person from history and place them in today's world, who would it be?
That one I'm gonna need two. Can I do two?
Sure.
Yay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to bring back Harriet Tubman and Vincent van Gogh because I think
Okay.
that they
ones, yeah.
not maybe they don't need to meet. Like I don't know. Like,
It would be a cool lunch,
I
though.
don't need to like I would like to go. But like Harriet Tubman, like I would like her to see the world that she fought so hard for and never
Yeah.
got to see. And then also kind of same with Vincent, like he was such an amazing artist and nobody appreciated him in his time. So like
At all.
to bring him back
Yeah.
and like see that now there's like whole immersive exhibits about what he does. Like I think that it would be cool. Like
Sure.
everyone should get to see the impact that they have, and nobody does. So
Very good answers. Probably the best ones I've heard so far. What is your number one must-have tool in the bakery or in the kitchen?
my KitchenAid. Take my kitchen aid and we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. Like I've actually had that thought. Like if it were ever to be an apocalyptic situation, like I'm a very good baker. If you take my equipment away, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like am I gonna be make a meringue like with a whisk? Like I have
With a
to
whisk?
no.
No
Like
way.
I'm spoiled. Give me my tools.
What is your perfect dessert?
S'more.
Oh,
A
that's good
s'more.
one. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Very simple. I like s'mores.
Any twist on the s'more or just a
No,
normal?
like literally maybe just throw some sea salt on there to like tone down the sweetness. But like other
Sea
than
salt.
that, like you can't just be like a good burnt to hell s'more.
We did one time. We did s'mores with like a bunch of different
Okay.
types of candy bars.
Yeah.
You know, tried like Kit Kat and
Yeah.
Crunch.
Reese's is
but
pretty good.
Nothing beats just
I
the
know. It's
normal
just
Hershey's
it's the
chocolate
perfect
bar.
ratio.
It's perfect. Yeah. Whoever came up with that, thank
Yeah,
you.
good
Good
job,
job.
s'more guy. I don't know who that is.
What is the most important quality that a successful person should have?
Empathy. I mean, kindness, empathy, but just understanding what your like customers are going through and being able to kind of read emotions is huge.
Absolutely. I don't want to jump past that one because that's such an important characteristic, empathy. Actually, when we were formulating our core values, you know, our kindness and gratitude are two of our core values, and empathy was one, but we kind of built empathy into kindness because, you know, they say you're only supposed to have 6 or 7, and I had like 27 of them. But you know, empathy is so important. It's going back to what we talked about earlier with the guest that we had. Like, even though you may not, you know, like what a person says or what a person does, when you sit down and you have a conversation with somebody, you can then at least empathize with, okay, I can see why they're that way. And you still may not like it or even still might completely disagree with them, but at least you can employ empathy and say, okay, I kind of understand it.
Right.
You know, you had a messed up childhood, or, you know, you're going through this terrible thing in your life, or you're about ready to lose your house, and,
Yeah.
you know, your wife's, you know, treating you horribly or whatever is going on.
Something.
You can then say, okay, if I were in that situation, maybe I would or wouldn't do the same thing, but at least you can empathize.
Yeah.
And when people come to us with these things that they need, and sometimes just unrealistic demands,
Right.
like, instead of just dismissing it, have a conversation and like, oh, okay,
Where
I
it's
see
coming
why
from.
you need
Find
yeah.
the roots.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. What is the strangest nickname that you've ever been given?
I have never really had a lot of nicknames.
No?
Am I allowed to swear?
Sure. Tell us.
Zach on Halloween Baking Championship referred to a few of us as cake bitches.
Okay. Okay.
The strong decorators. Sorry, guys.
That's definitely a strange nickname.
But I know I've never really had nicknames growing up.
Okay.
Mostly just cake lady.
Just your was it your dad had a nickname because there were so many Pats?
Yeah, but that never really
that
transferred to
didn't
me.
transfer to you,
No,
yeah.
because I was
Okay.
the only Jill in the family.
Yeah.
So
What is a daily habit that everyone should do?
drink more water. Myself
Yes.
included. I never drink enough water. Like I drink 6 glasses of water at the end of the day because my body is like
And then you're up all night going to the
dehydrated.
bathroom.
Yeah, it's poor life decisions.
Well, I'm doing this 75 hard challenge,
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's a
I've heard-
gallon of water every day.
Oh,
And
I would-
honestly, out of all the difficult things in that challenge, the
water.
water is
I
the most
know.
difficult thing.
We're all
Sometimes
just-
I'm up at night just chugging water to
Right.
try to get it in.
We're all just complicated plants. Like we need water, and I'm like, no, you're fine. Like
Yes.
there's water and coffee. Just keep moving.
What is your favorite fast food dessert?
Oh, that's a tough one because I am a trash panda. I love junk food so much.
Yes.
Probably okay. So this is my very first job was at McDonald's, and we used to take an apple pie and put it in the flurry machine with caramel, and then you know, just kind of make that, and that's probably still one of my favorite things. And I
Sounds
don't
amazing.
probably because I haven't had it because I'm too afraid to ask for
I
it.
need to ask them to make that.
I know I could, but
Do you
like
have a
it's not
name
the
for
same.
it?
No, just snack.
The McFlapple. I don't know. That
I
doesn't
don't
sound
like
very
that.
appetizing. That doesn't
No,
sound
it doesn't.
appetizing
Don't
at
call it
all.
that again.
If baking were a competitive sport, what would be your signature move to intimidate others in the kitchen?
Oh, I don't know. Probably go off the deep end and put boba tea in a cake again.
Yes. Boba tea and a cake.
Don't
I
do
remember
that.
that.
It doesn't
Yeah.
work. I don't. Yeah, I would probably just say like the absolute chaos. Like a lot. I refer to what I do as chaos baking a lot because a lot of baking is very scientific, and I just kind of throw stuff in a bowl
Yeah.
and say this is probably work.
This is probably going to be
It's
good.
fine. So I mean, it depends on. I would think it would depend on my teammate, like who I'm going up against. Because if it was a science baker, like that would they would be able to handle it.
Well, I'm a big sports guy. You know, I do a
Okay.
lot of trash talking when I play
Oh,
sports. It
okay.
drives my
Yeah,
kids
yeah.
crazy a little bit, but it's just kind of the era I grew up in. So I'm
Yeah.
just wondering if there's trash talking that goes on in the baking world.
No, you're too in your own zone.
So what is the strangest request that you've ever had for a custom cake, and did you manage to pull it off, or how?
Yeah, that was a cake for a male stripper.
Ah. Do we want to know what this was?
I'm not gonna say that one, the name of it.
Yeah.
But it was for a male stripper, and that was his girlfriend or something, and she wanted a cake in the shape of a doghouse, with dollar bills and like money sticking out of it with his name on it. I didn't
Well, that's
ask too
better than
much
where
of
I
the
thought this was
story.
going.
It didn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've done those too.
Yeah.
Bachelorette cakes. I've done a few. But yeah, that the male stripper cake was definitely the weirdest one, I think.
Okay, if you were to do a Star Wars themed cake, we know you're a Star Wars
I am.
person. Which character would be the inspiration?
Ahsoka Tano, who, if you don't know,
I
Ahsoka,
do.
she's so cool. I think she's got her own show coming out soon. So if you
Yeah,
don't know
I've
her,
heard that.
yeah,
Watch The Mandalorian.
yeah.
If you were a baking ingredient,
Mm.
what would you be and why?
I would say probably eggs, because I'm versatile. Like, and you have to treat it correctly for it to work right.
Right. And it goes in so many things.
Yeah, you need it. If you don't have eggs, like it's very hard. It's very hard to replace. Like you can, but like don't.
Sure. Favorite way to spend a Sunday?
Oh, probably just relaxing, not baking. Like
Yeah.
not baking. Anything
chill.
not baking. Yeah. Sundays are usually my the only days that I may not bake, because it's all the orders are typically done for the
Yeah.
week. So, yeah, not baking.
Describe yourself as a kid.
Kind of going back again, like just I was the weird creative child. Like very much in my storybooks when I was a little kid. I was band geek, theater nerd in high school. Probably wouldn't have talked to me.
I don't know about that. I talk to
No,
everybody.
I was a weird kid. Yeah, I was the weird kid, weird creative child.
So, what advice then would you give to your 16-year-old self?
He's literally just a guy.
It's just a dude.
He's not the love of your life. Hit him with your car.
There'll be others.
That's a TikTok thing.
There'll be others.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, I got to ask this.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wondered, why is a baker's dozen 13? Do you have any idea?
Murphy's
Explain.
Law. Something's going to go wrong. You make 13 instead of 12, because if you make 12, then you will only have 11. And
Oh.
typically people order things in dozens. So you always make that extra one to
Just in case.
security, and then you have a snack. So
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, a
it's-
lot of
Either
people
way,
now
it's a
throw it
win-win.
in. Yeah.
Either
but-
you replace the bad one or you get a snack.
or then you have just enough, and then typically people in the food industry treat their bodies very badly. Like, we don't eat or take care of ourselves properly, so we just kind of shove extra food in our face, and that's how we eat.
Sounds like a good plan.
It's not.
When is the first time that you felt successful?
This is actually a cool story. When Slash brought out a cake that I had helped make for Joe Perry of Aerosmith to present to him on his birthday.
Wow, name dropping like
Yeah,
crazy today.
that was a cool one.
That's more impressive than Food Network.
Okay, well, I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
That was very cool.
What was the cake?
It was Joe Perry from Aerosmith. It was his birthday.
Oh,
They
it
were
was him?
performing at Pine Knob or DTE, whatever it is now. And Slash had opened for them. So, and they came to the bakery that we were working at and said, "Hey, it's Joe Perry's birthday. Can you guys make him a cake?" And we're like, "Yes, of course we can." And so we all kind of pulled
You're
it
like,
together.
Nah, I don't
and-
have time for that.
No,
guy.
that's all right. Pass. So that one.
I got these dozen donuts I have to get
That
out by
was
the
cool.
morning.
Yeah. I've also done donuts for Game of Thrones themed donuts for Fallout Boy. Helped make a cake for Katy Perry. So that was all when I was working in Rochester. Like, that was where all the big names were.
Yeah.
We don't get Katy Perry in Owosso.
Not too much.
Katy Perry, come to
She
Owosso.
doesn't stop by O-Town too often. What is a must-read book?
American Gods by Neil Gaiman.
All
Anything by Neil Gaiman. I always get his name wrong.
Yeah, I think he said Neil Diamond. I'm like, he
Neil Diamond.
writes
No,
books.
Neil
He
Gaiman.
can write a mean song, but
Gaiman. I always get the vowels wrong.
so I've heard you describe yourself as a nerd,
Yeah.
even on this podcast.
Yeah.
What is your favorite nerd project?
That's a good question. I probably when I did Baby Yoda, when
Baby Yoda was awesome.
Mandalorian came out, and like, because nobody
Grogu.
saw that coming. Like, we had no idea. Like, when that little thing opened and there's
Yeah.
this little baby Yoda, we didn't know his name or anything at the time. Like, we lost, like, my husband and I, our son was still a baby at that point. We only had one son. And like, we traded, I think, in 1 week, 10 pictures of baby Yoda to each other in one of our actual son. We're like, oh, we need to examine our lives.
There's
But I think-
another Yoda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it was, and I like, it was a time where I could actually get some sculpting in. So I sculpted him, and I would like to do it again. Like, I would like to circle back and do it again because I'm farther in skill now than I was when I did that.
My wife loves Baby Yoda.
Right? Who doesn't? He's adorable.
Okay, couple of this or that.
Okay.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit?
I'm really not a fan of that series, so I guess Lord of the Rings.
All right.
Legolas was cute when I was growing up.
This is the big one. Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
That's
Easy.
the only
That's
answer,
easy.
right?
DC has qualities. They're better at cartoons.
Better at cartoons, yes. Movies, I just
They're
I
yeah,
can't
their
get
live
into
action
it.
movies aren't great, but
No.
they can knock out a animated film.
Can we just talk about that for a minute? I feel like DC, they just rush everything. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it's
Like
just-
Marvel took like 10 years to build this whole cinematic universe that led up to this great crescendo with, Infinity War and Endgame. And it was just you got to know the characters, they developed them, you had some understanding, even if you never read a comic book, which I haven't.
You get.
You kind of knew who these people were and how it all tied together, and it's what made it great. Now I feel like since Endgame, Marvel is kind of struggling to find whatever this next phase is supposed to be. But DC, it's like they tried to do something similar, but they just rushed it. They throw all these characters in that you don't know anything about, unless you're
Yeah.
like a purist that you've read all the comic books.
And even
but-
so, they still like they don't stay with the storylines, and they just kind of they modernize the because I mean
Yeah.
a lot I think that's part of the problem is a lot of the DC stuff is like very old school comics, so
Yeah.
like they're not as flashy for the
Right.
silver screen. So I think that they try to like
and their CGI is really bad. I
They
feel
really-
like
oh my
it's
God.
really, really bad.
so bad. We watched the second Flash movie the other night, and we're like, this is not good. Like,
Yeah.
this is
This the new one that
not
just
good.
came out?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
feel
not
like they're
great.
trying to do like the whole multiverse thing. And maybe
Yeah.
that was a thing. I mean, I don't know. Again, some of the comic book purists tell me, oh yeah, that was, this, but
Yeah.
it just seems like they're trying to do the same thing, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
But if you ever get a chance to watch a DC animated film, like the what is it? The some of their Batman stuff is
Yeah,
like
Batman Beyond.
insanely good. No, and, like the actual animated, like the cartoon
okay.
movies, like Flashpoint and things like that. They're so good. Like
Check
they're
'em out.
so good.
Let's check them out. All right, must binge TV series.
That probably Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Like you get a lot of backstory.
I need to watch that.
You do.
I never
It's
have
so
watched
good.
it.
You understand so much more. Like once you watch that one.
Me and my boys have been talking about. So we're actually just rewatching we rewatched the whole MCU, the
Yeah.
first 4 phases or whatever, and the last 2 movies were at our Infinity War and Endgame.
Okay.
Because it's cool after you watch some of the TV series to go back and watch them. We've talked about going to watch all the Star Wars stuff like in chronological order, including the TV shows. It's obviously going to take a long time. We did one time when there were 7 Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Way back then.
Yeah, way back then.
We did this thing with a bunch of friends, and we had this guy that worked on staff with us that, like, a lot of us were like into sports, and he was not into sports at all. So we always felt like when we were talking about sports, he just had nothing to contribute. But whenever we would talk about Star Wars or anything like comic related, he was like,
Lit up.
we need to do something for Carl. Like, let's do something that's just like a Carl event. So we planned this thing, and we called it SW7. It was the secret code word, which was the 7 Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Oh, no. This was when there was only 6. This was before the new ones. And we called it SW6. That's what it was. And we're like, we're going to do an all-day movie marathon, watch all 6 Star Wars movies, starting with the prequels, which are hard to get through sometimes.
Yeah.
And we had this rule that, we're inviting these people. When we talk about it, you only can call it SW6 because we only have so much room in my man cave. And we start at 8 in the morning. We made a breakfast for everyone. And the rule was you had to watch every frame. If you had to get up to go to the bathroom, we had to pause the movies. We had like all these rules. If you fell asleep, you were
That's
fair
intense.
game. If you fell asleep, you were fair game. We could do whatever we wanted. And so we kind of planned this whole event for him.
Yeah.
He didn't even come.
It didn't even go. Oh.
We had guys
Did you
show up
guys-
with
did you guys
lightsabers
still
and
do
in
it?
costume.
Did you guys still do it or
we
no?
still did it. Oh, yeah, it was
wow. That's
awesome. We
commitment.
started at 8 in the morning. I think we finished at like 11:45.
Oh my God, I
at
would have
night.
slept through
And
so much of
It was
that.
all day. Like, I mean, that was like going from one to the next. It's a long. So now, like, trying to get through all of that would be insane. But okay, Apple or Android?
Android.
If Hollywood made a movie about you, who would be cast as you?
Obviously, Selma Hayek.
Of course.
No. It's because the resemblance is
Yes,
uncanny.
you guys
like
look exactly
look
alike.
and sound exactly like. No, I would probably. I don't know. That's a hard one. Probably maybe Michelle Dockery, who most people might know from Downton Abbey. She was Lady Mary. I don't know. She's brunette.
Not sure who she is. But
Yeah, it's okay. Like I don't know. I actually don't know that one.
who is your biggest baking inspiration?
Duff Goldman, who is Ace of Cakes.
Yes.
He was the reason I got into cake,
Duff is
like
awesome.
decorating.
Favorite quote?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know that one.
That's a good quote. I don't know.
I don't know. Help.
Somebody said it. Yeah.
Help.
Favorite place you've ever been?
Probably Colorado, actually. If we're going continental U.S., and I'm actually going to Colorado I leave on Saturday.
Good for you.
But
If you had one last meal, what are you eating?
I want Lula's. John Belfast would make this. He only had it occasionally, but it was the schnitzel, and it was like a pork thing, a cutlet that was breaded with like some lemon sauce. And one time he made it into a po' boy when they were still doing the po' boys, and it was like I dream about that sandwich.
You
Like,
gotta give him a call.
I
He's
want
still
that.
cooking, you know.
I
Yeah.
know.
He's got to do something else in the restaurant world.
I don't know.
He's
I think
so
he's pretty
talented.
happy.
Yeah,
he's
he is.
he's pretty happy just enjoying life and not having a restaurant.
Yes. Yeah, we've been meaning to talk to him, like, because I see he's trying to do like some food videos. Like, we should produce like a YouTube channel for him. Like, he's like just making stuff when he wants, and
Yeah.
I think that would be really, really cool.
He's so good.
Let's see. If you had one last meal, I just asked you that.
Yeah, John, make me the sandwich.
What is success to you?
What is I think just finding peace with where you're at. And I mean having money's good. Money helps,
It
but
helps.
it
Helps with the
finding,
peace a little bit
It
sometimes.
does very much so help with the peace. But no, it's just finding peace with where you're at, and like whether it's where you thought you would be in success or not, it's personal peace.
Good answer. I like that a lot. What is in your opinion, what is the best show on Food Network?
Halloween Baking Championship season 8.
Of course.
Just maybe no. Actually, honestly, I think I don't know if I think they did a reboot of the season, but Good Eats with Alton Brown was always my favorite. Like he was so cool, and like the way that they shot the show, and like all the little nuggets of information that they gave you, that was always my favorite. And I think they tried to do a reboot, but I don't think it took off as well as it did when it was originally on.
What is a totally irrational fear that you have?
You'll find out in episode something. I mean, most people, if you watch this show, I don't like sloths. They creep me out. I got a lot of heat for that. I don't know why. I have no explanation for it, but because most people know that one already, I'll offer my other completely irrational fear. I don't want butterflies to touch me.
My wife doesn't like moths.
I don't
Similar.
care. I don't mind. I want to look at them. I want them to look at that over there. And I found this out. I begged my husband to go to the butterfly house at Mackinac Island because I wanted to be the Disney princess, and I was sure that the butterflies were going to come and land on me, and it was going to be magical. And I walked
gonna
in
start
there, and I
singing.
saw all these things flying around, and I was so on guard. I was like, "Do not touch me with your creepy, spiky little legs. Get back on your plant. Get back on your plant. Stay over there." I love butterflies. I think they're beautiful. Stay over there. Like, I did not know that about myself until I went
Interesting.
into
Yeah, I
that
haven't heard that
butterfly
one
house.
before.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know.
If you could have any job in the world, what would it be?
If I wasn't doing what I'm doing, I would very much like to be a florist, like work with flowers and plants and things like that.
What is your love language?
Snacks.
If you could
Cheese, specifically.
if you could broadcast a message to the entire world, what would it be?
Oh, just be kind. Be kind to each other, everybody.
Love it.
Like, Just stop and be kind,
Just
okay?
be
Take a
kind.
breath. Like I tell my 4-year-old, just like, don't let anger you're the boss of your body. Don't let anger be controlling. Don't let anger be the boss.
Yes.
Like it's just there's too much. There's just too much. Just be kind.
Too much. And social media doesn't help that.
No, it doesn't.
What is your proudest achievement?
I mean, I can go the sappy answer and say my boys, but
That's a good answer.
but I mean, probably at this point, probably Food Network.
What is something important that you've learned in life that could help others be successful?
Stay true to who you are. Like I mean, I somehow managed to get on Food Network in a town who had no idea who I was, like working out of my home, and just by posting not what was trending on social media, but just what I liked and what I was good at. And that when I talk to teenagers and things now, I just tell them like it's especially with social media, TikTok, things like that. Like it's so easy to get caught up and follow the trend and like try to go viral, but you'll get farther if you follow your own intuition and heart. So,
Love
and that's
that.
hard to do
Love
because
that.
you just want to make it to the top of the page, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Don't chase the followers and the likes.
Right. Just do you.
Do you.
do
There's
you,
somebody
baby.
out there that will like you. All right, you made it to question number 50.
Ooh. Good for me.
With everything going on in your life today, what makes you most happy?
Sleep. Sleep.
What's that?
What is sleep? I don't know. No, just honestly getting time to spend with my family. Like we get so little family time. Like my husband works very hard to support our family. And he works kind of weird hours. Like he's usually gone from about 10 in the morning till about 9 o'clock at night. So, and then on the days that he's off, I am focusing on getting my stuff done. So we don't get a whole lot of family time. So whenever we get time just to spend it with each other as a family, like that's joy right
gold.
there.
It's gold.
Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
it's also very frustrating because like the kids scream a lot, but like
How old are they?
precious memories. 4 and my little one will be 2 in September. So
Okay. It
yeah,
gets
very
better.
chaotic age.
The screaming gets different, but it
Does
gets
it?
better. Yeah.
Okay,
It
good.
gets better. It gets better. They don't scream as much. They just become more needy.
Yeah, I
Wow.
got boys. So I know that eventually they'll just hole up in their rooms and
Yeah.
I'll just throw food at them every once in a while.
Have like a food door.
Yeah,
that
but
you
they're
s-
cute
drop
right
stuff in.
now. They're adorable.
Well, Jill, thanks for sharing everything. I feel like
Yeah.
we know everything about you now.
Some,
And
yeah.
our
a
audience.
few
Yeah.
things.
No, thank you for sharing all this stuff with
Butterflies and
us.
sloths. That's all you need to know.
Yes.
Just keep them away from me.
What is going to be the biggest takeaway from today's episode? No, we appreciate you coming on. We love seeing what you're doing. Keep up all the good work.
Thank
and
you.
I can't wait to see the next,
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
layers of the cake
Yeah.
and see how it goes. And we are going to do something now that I think Casey is going to help us with. Is that correct? All right. So, Casey, take it away.
Hello, I'm Casey Lambert, and this is Tony Nash Taste Celebrity Baking Jill Davis's weird flavored items.
Items. Okay.
So, Tony, are you ready for this?
I think so. Jill, thank you for the cool blindfold here.
Yeah, no problem.
I am blindfolded, but for some reason I'm also closing my eyes. So I guess that's just part of the.
All right. So, our first dish, Jill.
Wait, what's supposed to happen here?
Well, you're going to get to taste the item, and then you're going to guess the flavors that are within.
Oh, so we're gonna test how refined my palate is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, just so you know, because I'm on 75 hard, I've had very limited sugar over the last 45 days.
Okay.
So I don't know if my sweet palate still exists, but we'll find out.
Okay. Well, you have 2 sweet and 1 savory. So,
Okay.
and
right.
3 levels of difficulty. We're gonna start out easy.
Easy. Okay. What
then
do I
we're
get
gonna-
if I win?
You get to eat the rest of it
Oh,
after you're
okay.
done with 75 hard.
After I'm done.
Yeah, it keeps very well in the freezer. All right, Jill, so don't tell us the flavors, but will
Okay.
you please let us know what the first dish is?
First one, I felt like I had to bring some sort of cake, so this is going to be a cake.
All right, Tony,
Situation.
I'm going to unwrap it for you.
All right.
This is
gonna be
this
the
is moist.
Oh,
My least
on.
favorite word.
I'm going to just right here above your microphone.
Okay.
Go ahead and don't
Oh,
don't
wow.
stick your finger in the jam.
Is it a cupcake?
It
here's
is.
a cupcake.
Okay.
It is.
I got to get this wrapping off here. All right, I'm just going in for it.
Do
Just
it.
go for it, guy. Nice, delicious bite there.
Oh wow, that's,
What?
that's
Here,
very
I'll take
tasty.
this from you. What are you tasting, Tony?
Well, it's a vanilla cake with some buttercream frosting and maybe some sort of like a strawberry or something in the middle, cherry,
Very close. Raspberry.
raspberry.
Yeah,
All
you were in the red fruit family. That was
All
good.
right.
That was
Excellent.
Some sort of a
Excellent,
berry.
Tony.
right. Was the everything else right?
Yeah,
Vanilla cake?
yeah.
Okay.
It's a raspberry swirl cake with Swiss meringue
Fantastic.
buttercream, and then you didn't quite get to it, but there's a dollop of jam on the top too. But you didn't quite make it that far.
Fantastic.
it's
That
a-
was very, very good.
It's a shame that you don't like making cupcakes.
Casey, are you
Cupcakes.
eating this behind me?
No.
I hear
He
you
would
smacking
never.
your lips back
He
there.
would never.
A little known fact, I came up with this game just for the fact that I
Man,
could
that was
taste
really,
some
really
Jill
good.
Davis.
Okay, so this next one is gonna be like a bar, kind of like
Okay.
like I would say in the brownie family, but it's me, so like
It doesn't have
more
marijuana
than
in
that.
it, right?
It does not.
Okay, good.
But I could plug any of the 7.
All right,
dispensaries.
this smells delicious.
Yeah.
By the way,
This one's a little bit more
and,
complex.
it's
so
very
there's-
beautiful if you could see it there on the camera.
There's a lot going on with
Tony's
this one.
grabbing for it.
By the way, being blind would be very, very difficult.
Okay. Just go ahead and give it a bite ski there, guy.
It definitely smells like almost like a brookie.
Okay. This is fun. This is fun for me.
I missed my mouth.
So you can get it, Tony. You can do it. What are you tasting in there, big guy?
I know that flavor. What is it? Is there some sort of a cream cheese?
That's one.
I might need another bite.
Here you go, guy.
Oh, you're over there eating already?
Yep.
Where is it at?
Oh, very delicious, by the way.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
so good. So it's a cream cheese.
Okay. Ding. Ding, ding, ding. That's
Is
one.
it like a chocolate chip?
No chocolate chips. There's no chocolate in it.
I mean, it's definitely got definitely I can taste like the cookie, or it's like a cookie texture.
There's something unconventional in there.
There is. Yeah, there's a little surprise.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
There was a
figure out what
little
it is.
spice at the beginning of that.
Is it like paprika?
No.
We got one more guess, big guy.
Then we'll do the reveal.
I have absolutely no guess what it
Okay.
is.
No, I know this flavor. I keep trying to taste the roof of my mouth. I don't know.
That's okay.
don't
So
know.
that one is the O Dolly Bar. It's my homage to Dolly Parton. So
Okay.
it is a pretzel crust
Oh,
with
okay, the
a
pretzel, that's what I was
blondie,
getting.
a layer of blondie, which is like a
Like a brookie.
like a brookie, and then a cheesecake layer with a strawberry jalapeno swirl.
That's it,
The
the jalapeno.
jalapeno.
Oh,
That
is
was
it-
fantastic.
I wish you guys watching this at home could get the taste of this because it was so perfectly put together.
That was so good.
Like it was great.
Okay, now this is the most unhinged scone I've ever made. So have fun. And
I was so excited to try these.
if you don't like it, it's okay. So there you go.
Ooh, look at this. Beautiful. It's a sizable scone. I can already see what's in it, so I can't spoil this, but I'm very excited. Tony, it's a very large scone.
Yeah, so you can just.
Okay.
So
Oh.
So this is going to be your savory. So you're going to switch up from the sweet. So you might need to take. Sorry, it's messy.
Oh, wow.
got a good smell to it.
It does.
Yeah, Jill was itching to make this.
I have. This has been like a brainchild of mine for a minute.
Oh, he's interested. He's enjoying it.
No, as desserts go, I'm not a big scone guy.
Okay. But this is a savory, so it's not really a dessert.
Yeah.
Like this would be more of like a breakfast thing.
Breakfast dish. What are you tasting?
And do you hate it?
No, it actually tastes really good.
You're so self-conscious about this.
No, because my husband tried it and he hated it.
Oh, well, Carl, maybe
Carl,
change up that thought
Carl
a little bit.
hated it. Well, he got the first version and it wasn't great. This is the.
He's over here hoarding it. I want to try
I
it.
have 5 more.
There's a little garlic.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's one of the more nuanced flavors. So
nice.
hold on.
Look at nuanced flavor.
Nuanced.
Oh man, what is that?
I'm gonna give you a hint. Your son, who's out of the country right
Yeah,
now, might be
is-
able to help you with
Well,
this.
I was gonna say, does it have like a sushi, like a? has it like is it soy sauce?
Yeah, that is one of the flavors in there.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're doing good.
Yeah. It definitely has almost like a seafood flavor to it. Like a sushi type.
Yeah. There's no seafood, but
No
you are
seafood.
correct with the sushi.
Okay, so tell me what's in it all together.
All right, so this one
Here you
was
go, Casey,
based
try it. It's very
on
good.
musubi, which is a Japanese food of rice, fried spam, and nori.
Fried
seaweed.
spam.
Popular in
Like,
Hawaii.
yeah,
I'm
in
taking
Hawaii,
my
it's a big
blindfold off.
Hawaiian dish as well. So that is a musubi scone. So it's got the crisp rice on top.
That's
The,
so
Does it have
the
wasabi
nori.
in it?
It does not have any wasabi. It's got toasted sesame, garlic scapes that I got from the farmer's market, fried a miso soy fried spam, and then the nori.
It's so good.
It's
very good.
It's so good though.
Listen, I've had musubi from a 7-Eleven in
Oh,
Hawaii.
Okay, that was probably
And,
fire though.
Oh, absolute fire, but to scone
Look
it
at all
out,
the crumbs.
I know. I'm sorry. It's messy, and you were
No,
eating
I,
it
um,
blindfolded.
I don't know what the proper term is to say that you're moving on to the next round of the AZEE Taste Testing
Oh,
Challenge.
sweet.
But
No sudden death.
please continue to bring us treats whenever you
Musubi
get a chance.
scones.
And
That's
Tony,
very good.
Tony, thanks for playing along with the Interesting
Thank you.
Taste Challenge. Guys, I'm not kidding. Jill from Drizzle makes the most unique flavors, and she's so generous to share these with us sometimes. So thanks for coming on.
Does
and-
that have
Guys?
everything bagel seasoning in it?
It does not. I think it's just the sesame and like the
Yeah.
garlic scapes, kind
Yeah.
of.
No, it's awesome.
That's
I like
delicious.
it.
So I
Almost
will
reminds
let,
me a little bit of like lox.
Kind of. Maybe.
Yeah, bagel with lox
Yeah,
on
and
it.
the spam just becomes salts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will. Thanks for watching our game, and I'll turn it back over to the host with the most, Mr. Nash.
All right. Well, thanks, Jill, for letting me try those things. I actually think
thanks,
the
Tony.
third one was my favorite.
Okay.
I'm more of a savory snack guy. I'm not a
Same.
big sweets guy, except for when it comes to beverages. Like, I really like pop.
Okay.
And one of the hardest things for me during this challenge has been not drinking pop.
Okay.
But that savory was really, really good. It was unique, and I
Yeah,
like
it's
that. I like
very
trying
unique.
new things. I like
don't
trying
think
new things.
anybody's ever done a musubi scone before because maybe it shouldn't be
So is
done.
that your
but
own invention, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Hey, anybody else watches this and you've made a musubi scone, just shout out. Tell me what you
Shout
did.
out. An homage to my son in Japan. So thank you for
Yes,
that.
yeah, I thought
Thank
you would
for
like that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I hope he's doing well.
More than halfway through, so he's getting a little homesick, but he's doing really, really well. So, well, what we do always at the end of the show is we let our guests look into that camera and I still have my headband down here, but plug whatever it is that you want to plug right now.
All right. Well, I mean, guys, if you need a custom dessert or a custom cake at any time, please give me a call. You can find me at drizzlecakesandbakes.com. You can find me on social media, Instagram and Facebook. Like I said, give me as much notice as you possibly can. I am very, very small working out of my house, so my spots do fill up quick, but if I can fit you in, I absolutely will. So thank you for going along with my crazy flavors, and I hope to bake for most of you someday.
Great plug.
Yeah.
Good job. Check her out, guys. Highly recommended here at AZEE. Go check her out and have her bake something very cool and unique just for you. And if you're still with us, thank you for coming along on this journey with us. We appreciate it. As my mother always said, you can't and never could until you tried. So go out there and try something great, my friends, and don't take the easy way out. We'll see you next time.